The year is 1789, Philadelphia. But forget the white horse and the humble general. Picture this, a 24-karat gold limousine tearing down the cobblestone streets, scattering horses and startling colonists. George Washington? He's out. History just got a hostile takeover. Instead of a stoic hero, a figure steps out of the limo, adjusts his powdered wig over a red hat, and gives a big thumbs up to a horrified Thomas Jefferson. His first words to the brand new nation? Not some fancy speech about liberty, it's this.
We are going to be winning so much, you're going to get tired of winning.
This isn't the story of how America was founded. This is the story of how it was launched, like a chaotic, gold-plated reality show. Buckle up. History is about to get tremendously weird.
So, President Trump is in charge. Day one. The challenges are enormous. The country is broke, the states are bickering, and the British are still salty about that whole revolution thing. A normal president would be cautious. But we're not dealing with a normal president. His first order of business? Dealing with the British. A normal leader would send envoys and write polite letters. President Trump's approach is a little different. He essentially tells King George, listen, you lost. Bigly. It was a disaster for you. We're going to send you a bill, a very, very big bill, and you're going to pay for it. He's trying to negotiate with an empire using the tactics of a 21st century real estate developer.
And then there's the slogan. Trump's core message has always been simple: make America great again. But in 1789, this creates a philosophical problem. The country is literally days old. It's like telling a newborn baby to recapture its glory days. People are confused. A farmer in Pennsylvania might say, make America great again? Did I miss something? We just got here. But to President Trump, the brand is everything. Logic is secondary.
This is where things get truly weird. He's in a meeting with a very confused Thomas Jefferson and a very stressed Alexander Hamilton. He unrolls a map and starts talking about his biggest, most beautiful idea. He takes a big black marker and scribbles a thick line along the Southern Territory, which is labeled Spanish territory. He says,
We're still going to build a wall, a great, great wall, right here. And we're still going to make the Spanish pay for it.
Jefferson has to gently explain, Mr. President, that's Spanish Florida. And who precisely is Mexico in this scenario? This is the tension of this new reality. A 21st century mindset dropped into an 18th century world. A world of quill pens and fragile alliances is suddenly being run by a man who thinks in terms of skyscrapers and branding. The founding fathers wanted to build a republic. President Trump wants to launch a franchise.
So you have these absurd plans, a wall to nowhere, a slogan from the future, and a negotiation style that gives diplomats a heart attack. You'd think this would lead to instant failure, right? Well, not exactly. The results are bizarrely effective in the weirdest ways possible. Let's go back to that deal with the British. They are completely thrown off. They have never dealt with someone demanding they pay for losing a war. The sheer audacity is baffling. Convinced it's some kind of brilliant strategic move they can't comprehend, and to avoid another unpredictable conflict, they decide to cut a check. Just like that, the United States gets a cash injection of £1 million in solid gold. Alexander Hamilton, the Treasury Secretary, is having a panic attack, but a happy one. He has no idea how it happened, but the nation's credit is suddenly solvent. Thomas Jefferson is seen muttering to James Madison, I must confess, I can no longer tell if we are founding a nation or signing a deal sheet for a casino. With this new cash, President Trump turns to the executive mansion. The plans for a dignified White House are thrown out. Instead, America gets Trump State. It's a classical building completely covered in gold leaf. Huge LED screens on the front pillars flash messages like USA #1. There's a massive jacuzzi bubbling away on the roof. The French ambassador reportedly asked if it was a government building or a palace of earthly delights. Trump took it as a huge compliment. Finally, the economy. Alexander Hamilton wants a national bank. President Trump thinks that's boring. He launches a new currency, the Trump coin. It's a literal physical gold coin with his face on it. He also founds a new financial district on a street with a wall on it in New York. Wall Street is born, but it operates more like a chaotic flea market. The value of the Trump coin is volatile. It's not tied to silver or federal bonds. Its value is tied directly to the president's mood. One day, a single Trump coin is worth a chicken. The next day, after he complains about his wig, it's worth half a chicken. It's chaos, but it's exciting chaos. So, the nation is rich but confused. It has a golden palace, a nonsensical slogan, and an economy that runs on pure bravado. A country running on chaos can't stay stable for long. The cracks in this bizarre new reality were starting to show, and President Trump's 21st century instincts were about to collide head-on with 18th century reality. The drama was about to escalate bigly. First, the wall. President Trump doesn't let details like Mexico not existing get in his way. He orders the army to begin construction on Spanish land, which predictably almost starts a war with Spain and drags in France. The internal politics weren't any better. The founding fathers, men who had dedicated their lives to philosophy and law, were losing their minds. Jefferson and Madison kept trying to explain the Constitution. Jefferson would say, "Mr. President, the document clearly states there are 3 co-equal branches of government." And Trump would reply, "Wrong. There's one branch, the best branch, the Trump branch. Everyone agrees." To him, the Constitution is like a very long, very boring terms of service agreement. Frustrated, he decides to write his own document, the Declaration of Tremendousness. It declares that all men are endowed with the right to life, liberty, and the pursuit of winning. The founding fathers are horrified. John Adams reportedly fainted. The diplomatic world is a circus. France, instead of asking for loan repayments, just starts sending crates of their finest wine to Trump State. The British build a small replica of Trump Tower right next to the Tower of London. Science takes a strange turn. President Trump hears about satellites and decides he wants one. He pours a fortune into creating Trump Orbit 1, a golden satellite that does absolutely nothing. It just orbits the Earth, gleaming in the sun, a tremendously expensive vanity project for the heavens. But the true breaking point, the moment where the chaos threatened to boil over, came from a simple idea. President Trump, feeling unappreciated, declares a new national holiday, National Trump Day. And he decides the very first celebration should take place in a city known for its rebellious anti-authority spirit. He decides to throw a massive, lavish parade in Boston. What happens when you mix a city that started a revolution over taxes with a mandatory celebration of a golden-loving president? The answer would not be pretty.
So, Boston, National Trump Day. As you can guess, it was a disaster. The people of Boston responded to the mandatory celebration by throwing gold-painted tea chests into the harbor. They called it the Boston Gold Party. It was less of a party and more of a riot. The country came dangerously close to a second revolution before it had even celebrated its first birthday. In the end, this America was a land of wild contradictions. The economy grew at a terrifying, explosive rate, but it was incredibly unstable. A Wall Street casino before Wall Street was even a thing. The politics were a complete circus. The two-party system formed around the Trump Party and the everybody else who has read a book party.
Debates were less about policy and more about who was being disloyal. And the society itself, it was weird. The American flag was constantly being updated with more gold leaf, and in the strangest executive order ever issued, the bald eagle was briefly replaced as the national animal by the golden chicken. Because, in his words, it represents wealth, and frankly, the eagles are nasty. So, that's the world. A United States that skipped the slow process of nation building and went straight for the season finale. It was richer, louder, and way more chaotic. A history turned completely upside down. The Trump version you definitely didn't read about in school. It makes you think, though. This was just his collision with the Founding Fathers. But what would happen if President Trump met Honest Abe? The deal maker versus the great emancipator? Let us know what you think would happen in that showdown in the comments below. And if you want to see more history get weird, make sure to like and subscribe. We've got plenty more timelines to mess up.